I'm going to talk about my children and how wonderful they are and how much I love them and all of their families. They all hold a special place in my heart. And that's why I want them all to have the joy and happiness the gospel can bring to them in their life. But my oldest son, Stephen, was special because we were able to adopt him, and I think we talked to him. I talked to you about that earlier, that we adopted him in Idaho, and that we were able to get a child within less than 3 months, which was so far different than the Relief Society telling us it would take 5 to 10 years to adopt. But Stephen has brought a lot of joy into our life, but he also brought some anguish, particularly in his high school years. He's a very intelligent individual, and during high school, he knew every rock star from A to Z. And his ambition was to go to Hollywood and be a drummer. And it took some really good counsel from his dad to get him on a mission. And he went to Germany, like his father. He went to the South German mission, was stationed in Munich. And when he came home, he found we were renting a home over in Springville while we were building our home here in Mapleton. And while we were at the home in Springville, why he met his wife. She was at the church, and they became husband and wife, and have they are the ones on the top, on the left-hand side here. They have 3 children. They have Rachel, Rachel, Stewart, and Leslie. And Rachel has 2 children, 2 girls, but in essence, Stephen and Debbie actually have helped to raise Ariana and Alexa. They're now, Alexa is in college and Ariana is working. But he went to Texas. He graduated from BYU, and then went to Texas in social work. And the reason I think he changed to social work instead of being a drummer, well, he's still a drummer, but not in Hollywood, is that he went to work at the Utah State Hospital to help get him through school and to support his family. And while he was at the hospital, I guess he became interested in social work. And so he changed his major to social work, and then he left his family with us for a year. We had a home where we had a basement and everything contained, so they could live downstairs. And then I helped babysit because Debbie worked, and I helped take care of the children. And so he went to Texas and got his master's degree in social work. And he never came home. They have lived in Texas. He came and got his family, and they moved to Texas. And they have been in Dallas area all these years. And they'll never come back to Utah. but it takes, I think, a very special spirit to work with the people that he works with. He works with addicts and tries to help them to come out of their addiction. And he's a good, I think he's a very good social worker. So that's our oldest boy. And then our next child is Christine. And Christine her family is on the far right there. And we just got that new picture of all of her family. And Christine has 4 children, and Matthew and Mark and Luke and John. No, Matthew and Mark, and then they had Sarah and Catherine. So they had 2 boys and 2 girls, and now they're all married and doing well. And just this year, she and her husband were called on a mission to go to Manila, the Philippines. And Don is a lawyer, and he is now legal counsel for the area presidency in the Philippines. And he has 2 other lawyers that assist him in this work. And Chris recently has been called as primary president of the American branch there, and she's doing a wonderful job there. But she also has taught elementary school for years, and she went into this school in Manila with 15,000 students, this elementary school. And they have to do a double shift. They have to, half of them go in the morning and half of them in the afternoon. And she went into the library and she just cried because there were very few books for a school of 15,000 students. So she's going to take it upon herself to try and bring some more books into the library there as a project. And I've got them down there waiting. You can't mail anything to the Philippines. It all has to be done by suitcase. You know, you take it in manual, which I think is interesting. But things are not what they should be. You can't mail things or they never get there. So Chris and Don are in the Philippines and experiencing some interesting things in their life. And then they have these wonderful grandchildren. I think there'll be 8 grandchildren by the end of next year. Okay, so then the next daughter is Catherine, and I've talked to you about Catherine, and she has 4 children. She's married to a doctor, and he's about to go in retirement. He's worked for IHC ever since he graduated from the military. I don't know, he's graduated every time he left the military. And they have 4 children, and their oldest, Bryce, is working in Centerville as a no, he's not. He was on the recreational director, but now he's working on the council or something to that effect, and he's in charge of the recreation and a lot of other things. But he's very talented, and he loves golf like his father, and they have 4 children. And then the next child was Tyler. And Tyler and his wife lived out in West Mountain, by West Mountain, Eagle Mountain. And they decided that they wanted to they had 1 daughter, but then they wanted more children and weren't able to, so they adopted 2 biracial children. And they felt, after living in Eagle Mountain, they felt it was more important that they move east, where their children would have more experience with their ethnic background. And they moved to South Carolina, and are doing quite well there. He does social media, and he's looking for a job right now, but they're going to go in business in just a short while, doing there's quenchies. Have you heard of quenchies? It's your different flavored drinks that they put a little bit of flavoring in it, and it's $5 instead of 50 cents. But anyway, so that's Tyler, and then they have another son. Cameron has just graduated. Well, he's been a doctor for some time, but he's doing special education, and now he's with a group in Henderson, Nevada, as an orthopedic surgeon, and it's doing well. And then their next child is Caitlin, and Caitlin married Andrew Bangader, and he graduated in statistics from BYU. Now, Richard, have you taken a statistics course, Randy?
No, many years ago.
Richard did, and the only thing that got him through was to find the brightest student and have him help him through it. And so they had a group of statistics students, and this one bright student got him through the statistics course. But anyway, Andrew's in statistics, and he works for Disney. He's been with Disney for I think ever since he graduated. So that's Catherine's family. And then Carol lives in South Jordan. Her husband is Philip. Carol Tree. They have 4 children. No, they have 6 children. And their oldest is Jacob, and he served a mission in New Zealand, and then he finished out his mission in Minnesota. I thought he was going to go to St. Cloud. You know, St. Cloud has a ringing sound to the Nixon, but he never made it to St. Cloud. He was in the Minnesota mission, but they sent him to Wisconsin. So part of Wisconsin was in the mission. But he had a good mission. He's a very, he's going to be a dentist. He's going to study dentistry. And then their next child was, their oldest child is Giselle, excuse me. Their oldest child is Giselle, and she has 3 little boys, 2 twins, and a boy that's about 4 years, well, he started school this year. And Michael is working for a medical company where they invent things for the medical field. And then after Jacob, there is Dallin, and Dallin is working as with rental properties, commercial rental properties, and going to school. And then after Dallin is Tiernan, and Tiernan just graduated. He's going to be an electrical engineer. And then after Tiernan is Greta, and Greta is in school and is into hockey. And what is it that it's been a long pole and a little basket on the end, and they throw the ball and catch it in the, what is that called? Anyway, that's what those are the 2 sports that she is doing, and she's in 9th grade now. So that's and Philip does a lot of substituting. He was in public relations, but now he's doing public or substituting, long-term substituting. They like him very much. So that's Carol's family, and then my youngest, my baby, James. He was here this morning. He has 4 children, and he went on a mission to the Czech Republic, and then joined the Marines. We tried to talk him out of it, but here's an instance where we were not correct. That he really blossomed in the Marines and was with them for 20 years. He flew C-130s. He had two assignments in Iraq, or maybe it was Afghanistan. I think it was Afghanistan that he flew, and then we went down to when he retired, and that was quite a ceremony. He was the only one that was retiring, and they brought the C-130s and had him there positioned and gave history of what he had done. And he at the time he retired, he was assistant to the watching over the airfield there in San Diego, and he retired as a lieutenant colonel in the Marines. And then after his retirement, he flew for some private companies that flew jets for, with VIPs and this type of thing. And then he finally got on with American Airlines, and has been with American Airlines for about 5 years, and has worked up to be captain. And they're in the process of, after the first year, they're going to move to Dallas, which makes me very sad. But they live in Linden right now. And they have a daughter that's married and is over in Anamosa. And they have another daughter that is just starting her education at Waco, Texas. It's I can't remember the name of the university, but I think I've done pretty well so far. And but she's going to go into interior design. And James just told me today that they don't require all these prerequisites. They just put them right into their major, and that's how they educate them. And I think that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. I think that all universities need to do that, mm-hmm. because a lot of this studies that they have these students do, if you don't use it, you lose it. And if you'd ask me anything about what I learned in sociology back in 1952, or what I learned in chemistry back in 1953, I couldn't tell you, and because I don't use it, and mm-hmm. So what I use is family history. That's what I can tell you about, is how to do family history. But anyway, the youngest daughter is Jessie. Anna Christina, she's named after Abraham Owen Smoot's wife, Anna Christina Morrison, and she's going to be staying at the home. They're not going to sell their home in Linden, but they're going to be. He and his wife will be moving to Dallas. So that's my family, and I think I've done pretty good to name them all.